and welcome to George Goes Everywhere, the show where we explore the city and see as much of it as we can, all without spending more than $100. Don't mind me, I'm just running up Canton Avenue here in Pittsburgh, which is the steepest street in the United States. Just give me a moment to catch my breath and we'll continue the episode proper. Anyway, like I was saying, I'm in Pittsburgh today, and this is a city with a long history, and so I definitely want to see some of that old school stuff, but then I also want to check out some of modern Pittsburgh and showcase its current status as kind of a tech hub. But first things first. And while we're out here, let's address the elephant in the room. It's cold out, like really cold out, but I got a hot take on cold weather. Traveling in the winter is totally underrated because one, things are way less crowded than they are in the summer, and two, winter's a big part of living in a lot of places. It certainly is here in Pittsburgh, so coming in the winter gives you a better idea of what it's like to actually live here. At least that's what I think. I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. Probably am. Now obviously we gotta kick things off with something steel related, right? So I've come to Carrie Blast Furnaces. It's an old iron mill. Basically it's the first step in producing steel. Wow, the size of things are just enormous, and you think this thing was heated to like 1800 degrees? Just amazing. Now this is the kind of place that you don't see much of anymore, and there's a good reason for that. They've torn them all down. But this place, they actually fought to preserve it, and I think that's great. I mean, they're fighting to preserve Pittsburgh's history. It's even a National Historic Landmark. This is so cool. This place is awesome. Another cool story about this place, there's a giant deer sculpture out in the yard. What happened is, before this place was a tourist attraction, a group of artists just kind of came in on their own and made this rogue sculpture of a deer out of stuff they found on the site. I do love old industrial places like this though. I mean, places like this are what built Pittsburgh, so coming here, it's like a different kind of history museum. But now we've seen some iron and steel, let's go check out another one of Pittsburgh's old industries. Did you know that in addition to steel, back in the day, Pittsburgh was also a huge manufacturer of glass? I read that something like 80% of the glass produced in the United States came from Pittsburgh at one point. So I've come to Pittsburgh Glass Center. It's a glass art gallery and artist workshop. Glass artists use the space to create all kinds of amazing work. But more importantly for me, they have a glass demonstration and workshop where you can actually help make something of your own. How hot is this?
So this guy gets up to 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. It's a temperature reference. That's a little hotter than lava when it comes out of the earth. Here again, yeah. Nice and level. Go here. Good. It's nice and hot this time. I'm going to take over the rod, and I'm going to start to spiral those lines up for you. All right. So we get this spiral, I'm going to begin to turn, but not move laterally left and right. And that's going to create friction on the table.
Oh yeah, you can see it spiraling.
This is where I'll have you go ahead and grab a blow hose for me. Go ahead, blow nice and gentle for me, starting off. A little harder now. Light, hot. A little avocado-y, but it's still a cutie.
Avocados are great.
Avocados are great. Beautiful, that's it.
Now they have to let it cool for a few days. It's not ready to go right now, but they did say they'll ship it to me, so I should get it in a few days, and suspense is killing me. So anyone who knows anything about the food in Pittsburgh knows about Primanti Brothers. Their sandwiches that have both coleslaw and fries in the sandwich are easily the most famous food in Pittsburgh. But what's interesting to me is that combo foods like that, foods where they just kind of take a couple different things and combine them into one, are something of a thing here. It apparently came from blue-collar workers who needed a meal that they could take on the go. No time for a side of fries, just toss them on the sandwich so I can get back to work. But there's another combo food I want to mention. It's called the Pittsburgh salad, and it's real simple. It's a salad with a bunch of fries dumped on top, which sounds amazing. It's healthy and unhealthy all at the same time. The only problem is I haven't found any place with the guts to actually sell this bad boy, so I don't know. I'll keep looking, but we'll see what happens. So we hit a couple things that relate to Pittsburgh's history, but now I'd like to talk about Pittsburgh's present, because modern Pittsburgh has a pretty thriving art scene. There's a number of museums I could go to, but in terms of art, I'd like to hit something a little more offbeat. This is Randyland. It's a giant house that's been converted into one big work of art. This place really is amazing. I mean, the level of detail that's just in every square inch is off the charts. The eponymous Randy isn't here right now, so I can't say hello, but they do have this nice cutout of him. Randy, I dig your place. I've seen a lot of places around the country try to do this whole art house thing, but they don't really pull it off. They're just kind of thrown together and disjointed. They don't have the vision that Randyland here has. Everything has got its own specific theme. Here, let me show what I mean. Here we have the flower garden. Here we have the mirror wall where you can say hello to yourself. Here we have the international wall. And here we have the musical section. There's a sign that says you must move toys. Well, if he insists. Is this how dinosaurs acted? I don't know. I don't know how to play with dinosaurs. And finally, we have Randy's ABCs. Be happy, organize dreams, help others, care forward, love yourself, and spread peace. Good advice, Randy. Something worth mentioning is that Pittsburgh is a city that really hits above its weight when it comes to museums, because they're world class and there are a ton of them, probably on par with the city twice its size. And that's because some of the former titans of industry made large donations to create them. Carnegie, Heinz, Frick. There's multiple places bearing each of their names. Like this place. This is the Carnegie Science Center, and it houses something that speaks to one of the most modern aspects of Pittsburgh, robots. See, this is a huge center for robotics, sometimes even called the robot capital of the world. So it stands to reason that it's home to Robo World, an entire area dedicated to robots. What's really cool about this place is that it's super interactive. I can play basketball against a robot and lose. I can play air hockey against a robot and win. And I can play the claw game and lose again. And they even have a Robot Hall of Fame. How I've gone this long without knowing that a Robot Hall of Fame existed is beyond me. It's got robots from all kinds of TV shows and movies: Lost in Space, The Day the Earth Stood Still, Forbidden Planet, Metropolis, The Iron Giant, HAL from 2001, and of course C-3PO and R2-D2. And very fittingly, they have a huge model of old Pittsburgh in the room right next to it, so it's past and present all in one. We've gone full circle here in Pittsburgh. And as great as Robo World is, I would like to see some robots out in the wild, free-range robots, you know? So that's why something called KiwiBot caught my eye. They're little tiny robots that actually deliver food to you. And that's great news for me because remember that Pittsburgh salad that I mentioned earlier? Oh yeah.